So here we're taking a look at Purrrlock Holmes. Now this is a deduction game where players will all be a member of Scotland Pound and running investigations trying to eventually catch the notorious Furriarty. Now this is not a cooperative game, but players can all lose if Furriarty manages to escape. Each player has a suspect card that is in front of them that they do not know the identity of, but all the other players at the table will know. A suspect card will have both a criminal animal on it and a time at which the crime was committed. On their turn, they're going to be able to do two things. One is going to be able to guess their suspect's information, and another will be to play two cards. Now you can do that in either order you wish. In order to play a card from your hand, you simply select one, show it to everyone at the table, and they will tell you whether it is a lead or a dead end. If it's a lead, that means either the animal on the card or the matches your suspect, or the time is within an hour of the time on the card. If they state lead, you will place it here. If they, however, state that the card is a dead end, then you would place it over here. If you wish to make a guess, you may do so. The way it works with the guessing, though, is you can decide whether or not you wish to guess the animal, or the time, or both. However, if you state that you are going to guess both, you must be correct on both of those things. Players at the table are not allowed to tell you why you are wrong in that case. They can only state that you are incorrect. If you are correct on one item that you've stated, then you get to take a paw print. If you get both correct, you get to take 2 paw prints from the trail. If you are incorrect on either your 1 guess or on either item on a 2 guess, then players simply state you're correct and you will have a penalty at the end of your turn. If you are correct, you will take your suspect, move it in front of you here, and put the paw prints that you have acquired on there. If the paw prints that you picked up are face down when you pick them up, they must remain face down. You are allowed to look at them, but they remain unknown to the other players at the table. Once you do this, you will discard any leads and suspects that you have already acquired. You will draw a new suspect and place it out in front of you. And then you will draw 2 new cards to seed your investigation with. Players will once again do the lead or dead end, and you'll place those out. Once you're at the end of your turn, you will be passing the 2 remaining cards in your hand to the next player. If you were either successful in guessing or you did not make a guess, you will draw 2 new cards into your hand. However, if you had attempted a guess and you were incorrect, then you will not draw any cards. So when play comes back to you, you will have to play the 2 cards that have been handed to you. Once play comes around back to the beginning of the first player's turn, Furriarty will advance on his path, flipping over the previous paw print and advancing him closer to his eventual escape from the players. At any point during another player's turn, you are allowed to take a once per game action, and that is to yell pause. And in doing so, you flip over your little card here and say pause. This will allow you to immediately guess the suspect in front of you in order to try to take paw prints. However, note that this is worth a -1 at the end of the game, and it is a one-time use only. If during the game Furriarty manages to get to the end of the trail, then at the end of that round all players will have lost, and whoever has the least amount of points will be considered litter box inspector for the next week or so. However, if at any point the Furriarty token here is captured by a player, the game will end immediately, and this token can be collected the same as paw prints. At that point, the game ends, and all paw prints in front of players are flipped over, and whoever has the most points is now promoted to Chief Inspector and has won the game. So that's a look at Purrrlock Holmes. Now this is a deduction game, and as such, not something I would normally play, but I did pick this one up on a suggestion and the fact that the artwork was done by the talented Jaquid Davis, who I am a fan of. She's done games such as Bella the Ball and Fidelitas in the past, and I really enjoy her particular style of artwork. With that said, I'm really happy that I picked this game up. This was a nice surprise. This is a deduction game with dead simple mechanisms to teach, but a lot of thinky strategy going into it, especially once you really wrap your head around what's going on. There's even a strategy in sometimes waiting, when you know what your suspect is, in waiting to let your opponent take one of those lower tiles so that you could swoop in and grab a higher one. Now, as I said in the overview portion, this is not a cooperative game, but you do need to keep a bit of a cooperative mentality, because if Furriarty gets to the end, then everyone loses. And another thing I liked about this is just because you grab the Furriarty does not mean that you win the game. You still need to have the most points. Overall, this is a wonderful game that plays well at all player counts. It plays from 2 to 5, and I found that it played great at 2 players. And any deduction game that can play good at 2 players is a pretty good game in my book. If you're looking for a deduction game that you can play with a group of friends, but learn easily, but will have a lighter theme to it, this is something to definitely take a look at. And once you get your head wrapped around it, you'll find that there's a lot of strategy that you didn't think was there at first. If you're playing this with younger kids, I might suggest modifying it a bit and making it fully cooperative, and perhaps just ignoring the point tokens altogether and everyone catches Furriarty or not. I hope this has given you an idea of whether or not this game might be right for you and your group, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.